Hello there, it is time to report on the first quarter financial results for VolitionRx Limited, very much a global operation, and we are in different parts of the globe today. And first of all, let's hear from the President and CEO of Volition, Cameron Reynolds, who's joining me now. Cameron, just bring us up to date on the key milestones over this quarter.
Yes, thank you, Nick. And I'd like to start with Nu.Q Vet. Fantastic breakthroughs this quarter. Firstly, Antech, which is part of the Mars Group, as you probably know, have now launched in the US and even better also in Europe with great key opinion leader backing. Their in-house test, the in-vet test, and that's a really big milestone for us. And now they're very actively marketing that. And also on the vet front, there was a launch in Japan by Fuji Vet, which is the biggest Japanese veterinary lab company. And there are about 11 or 12,000 vet hospitals in Japan, so a very large market. So those two things really should help us with revenue coming through in the back half of this year.
And what about on the human side, Cameron? What are the key points there that will be of interest to our viewers?
So the two big things going on at Volition are obviously the sepsis and the capture PCR, both of which we think have the strong potential to be really good blockbuster products. So we're very keen to commercialize through licensing, hopefully to get large upfront payments and royalties. We came through on the sepsis side, very large amounts of data are due within the next month or two, by the end of June or into July. And the aim of that is to fill the data room and also to make publications, of course, so that we can start licensing those products to large companies we have been talking to about licensing. Also very similar on capture PCR. The first big lot of data we're expecting very soon as well, by the end of next month, which we will also be putting into a data room, which we also have had a lot of interest from the very large diagnostics and liquid biopsy companies. The aim of releasing the data we did late last year was to get the interest of a range of other companies, and that's been very, very successful. And so we're waiting for that data, and that will really help us drive commercialization.
Numbers, of course, always very important, and we're going to go over to Terig Hughes, the CFO, Chief Financial Officer, very shortly. But the numbers this quarter, particularly important, and in the coming quarters, we're talking cash flow, etc., cash flow neutral.
Absolutely. We're in the transition now to become a commercial company, and so we're now laser focused on commercialization. Obviously, a big part of that is making sure we have as much runway as we can to get the best deals we can. So we're making a cutback now of $10 million on an annualized basis. And I'll pass over to Terig, who can go through more of the details now.
Hi, Terig. As Cameron said there, quite a lot going on, particularly from the financial aspect. Just talk me through some of your key updates and what's the key message?
Thanks, Nick. So as Cameron said, we are taking strong and necessary decisions to ensure that the company is cash flow neutral in 2025.
So just drill down in a bit more detail into what that means, but maybe start with the funding aspect.
So as you're probably aware, we have had success in the past with receiving non-diluted funding from various government agencies in Belgium. In fact, we've received over $20 million in non-diluted funding, and we have applied for over $25 million in government grants from various US agencies, and we have another $18 million of grants in progress from various European agencies.
Talk to me a bit about data, because Cameron mentioned there, data is power, data is information, and that's going to be pretty important going forward.
Yes, Nick. We've spent this quarter building our data room and ensuring that we will have a significant amount of data by the end of this quarter to enable us to begin licensing discussions. If successful, like with Nu.Q Vet, that could provide us with significant milestone payments and a stream of ongoing royalties.
And then finally, on the numbers front and the general financial picture, just talk to me a bit about reducing expenditure for Volition.
Our goal is to reduce expenditures by $10 million on an annualized basis. And we'll do that by reviewing all lines of expenditure, all items in the budget. In addition, to demonstrate their continued belief and commitment to the long-term prospects of the company, the board of directors and the leadership team are taking a significant reduction in their salaries in exchange for equity. And just to sum up, our aim is to become cash flow neutral in 2025. And we will do that by increasing revenues, cutting costs to reduce expenditures by $10 million on an annualized basis, getting very meaningful government grants and non-dilutive funding, and licensing milestone payments from Nu.Q NETs and Capture PCR.
Thanks very much, Terig. And Cameron, just to add some flesh on the bones of that situation with the financials, there are some personal implications for you and other senior members of the team as well.
Yes, indeed, Nick. I think it's we're all very behind everything we're doing. The board, myself, are all taking half of our compensation and salary in shares, and every member of the 11-member leadership team are also taking shares for part of their salaries. It's because we very much believe in what we're doing. I think the stock's very good, very well priced at the moment, so I think it'll be very good for us. And it's good for the company to make sure we spend every cent we can commercializing our product. And so the whole management team, the board and myself are completely behind the savings, and I think it should make us a much stronger company as we commercialize now.
And whilst we're on the subject of the board in particular, we're saying goodbye due to retirement. Well, we know him as Dill, the executive chairman, but you've got something to say on that, obviously.
Absolutely. He's been an absolutely fantastic chairman, and it's been a pleasure to work with him all these years. And he's taken the company to just the 3 or 4 of us in the lounge room in London, to being on the New York Stock Exchange, to having the only vet product out there. It's truly a screening product, to being on the cusp of launching our sepsis products, and I think they're going to be a blockbuster, and of course all the human cancer work. He should be tremendously proud of the work he's put in and the contribution he's made to getting us where we are, and we look forward to continuing to be in contact with him and continuing to mentor us as he has done these past 14 years. And also, of course, to Ed Butcher, who's retiring as well. Thank you for all your great work over the last few years as well.
So just a final word from you. Looking ahead, the key thing seems to be looking at data rooms, data coming through.
Absolutely. We want to see the vet ramp in the second half of the year, and we really backed ourselves to get a large amount of data so that we can license out, as we did in vet, license out in sepsis and in the human cancer PCR. As I said, I think they're potentially both absolute blockbuster products. We have thousands and thousands of patient samples being run now and should be finished very soon. And we have a lot of companies very interested in licensing. So it's going to be a very, very interesting end of the year as we really focus on commercializing these absolute groundbreaking technologies. So keep a close eye on it. It should be a very, very good end of the year.
Well, thank you very much. We will be highlighting that in the next set of results coming this summer. And Cameron Reynolds, Group CEO and President, thank you as always for joining us and filling us in on the results for Volition. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Nick, and thank you, everyone.